graduated college, I got a job working at a Greek pastry shop. It was owned by a husband and wife, and they were just the sweetest couple. And their specialty was spinach pie, Spanakopita. So, for the secret ingredients, you'll need some fresh spinach, some Greek feta, it has to be Greek, some fresh dill, some spring onions, lemon, olive oil, some eggs, and a really nice pack of phyllo pastry. So now we're going to take some spring onions, probably about 10 of them. You can just cut the onions into big chunks for now. And then we're going to whiz them up. You want some of the grain, but not all of it. So I won't use the very end. The key to this recipe is you have to emulsify the onions, pulverize them, which means beat them to a pulp. So now I'm going to take my Ninja, very fancy blender, which maybe I shouldn't be using onions in if I'm going to make a raspberry smoothie tomorrow, but so you just want to whiz these up. I like to do about half at a time. Smoothie, anyone? 900 watts of power, but it's having trouble with an onion. Come on, Ninja. Intermission. I think you're supposed to pulse it, but I get impatient. 10 hours later, you'd never believe those were onions. So take a very large saucepan and drizzle some olive oil. And then you're going to take your pulverized onions and saute them. Add some black pepper. You want to add a lot of spinach. Probably one of those boxes that you get from the grocery store is fine, but by the time you cook it down, it'll be tiny. And then you need about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. This will take about 15 or 20 minutes. Try to keep the lid off the spinach because you want all the water to evaporate. So for the filling, you'll need 2 eggs, some Greek feta, and it's a little bit different than what you would get in a grocery store. I highly recommend going to a Mediterranean store and picking some of this up. So for now, you just want to whiz up half of it, which is probably about a cup. Take the rest of the Greek cheese, which is about a cup, and cut it into cubes. I mean, if you can get through cutting the cheese without eating it all. That looks like more than a cup left over. Oh well, it'll taste good. So my first shift working at this Greek pastry shop, I told myself I wasn't going to eat the pastry. So I brought a salad. And on my break, my boss came up to me and said, Why you eat salad? Have a pie, it's okay. So I had my first piece of Spanakopita, and I never brought a salad again. So just set this aside. So make sure the spinach is cool before you add the egg mixture because it'll turn into scrambled eggs. I like to put it in another bowl. Make a hole in the middle and it'll cool down very quickly, or you can just pop it in the freezer. That's if you're really in a need for spinach pie, which I always am. So the secret about Spanakopita, it's not just the spinach, it's the dill. And you can't use dried dill in this recipe. You have to get the fresh one. So you'll need about a cup of it. So after about a year working at this pastry shop, my pants started to get tight. Underneath my apron, I used to keep my button open because it wouldn't close. And one day my boss came up to me and she slapped me on the thigh and she said, "Do the bicycle, do the bicycle." So yeah. I ate a lot of spinach pie. So now add the dill to the spinach. It smells so good. So you're probably wondering why I haven't made my own phyllo pastry. Well, that's because it takes 12 hours, and I want spinach pie today. You can get this at any Mediterranean cafe or bakery. They just do it so perfectly, and it's tradition. I just want to keep to that. Phyllo pastry is very delicate, so you just want to roll it out. It is paper thin. The best way to handle this, and that's why I like using Greek pastry, is you just want to open it up. And if you look, pastry is so thin that you can even see through it. I mean, it's beautiful. So you don't have to worry about this pastry drying out because you're going to be coating it in olive oil. That's the thing about a lot of Greek pastries, is that it's not butter they're using like in France. They use olive oil, and it gives a beautiful earthy flavor to everything. So you'll need a springform pan, probably about this size. So when I say you need a lot of olive oil, I mean you need a lot of olive oil. Let's start out with a 1/4 cup. Let's brush the inside. Anyone that's Greek will tell you that you should use Greek olive oil. So it's Greek olive oil. So take your first sheet and just lay it across the top. It's so beautiful. So once you get your first sheet in, you're going to get out the olive oil. And the next one, we're going to do it horizontally. And again, more olive oil. And again, you just want to turn it the other way. Just brush it lightly. I mean, when I worked there, they used to do it in great big pans, but I don't have a 24 by 24 pan. Coat each layer of pastry. Don't skip on it. Just push it a little bit into the corner because those corners will get really crispy. You can use as many sheets of pastry as you like, but I find 7 or 8 is perfect. So you just want to set this aside. So you're just going to lay a slightly damp tea towel on top while we finish the spinach. So now add that egg mixture that we made. And of course, add the rest of that feta. You don't need to add any salt to this because the feta is already very salty. And now for the best part. Add this mixture to the center of that pastry. You want to just spread that out. You're just going to fold in the pastry, doing one sheet at a time. And then as you fold it over, you put more olive oil. And you want to just keep doing that until all the layers are finished. And these little pieces standing up like this are perfect because it'll create little air pockets when it's baking. I totally lied about the olive oil. Need a little bit more. It's like 1/2 cup. And then a final brushing of olive oil. Put this beautiful pie in the oven at 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes. Did you know that in Greek, yes and no is opposite? That ohi is no and ne is yes? What? I used to get everyone's orders wrong. It took me a while to figure that out. I'd ask them, would you like cinnamon, canela ke zakari? And they'd say, okay. And then I would put it on and realize, no, they didn't say okay. They meant no. I ate a lot of these, and I'm still not sick of them. It just brings back so many memories. Really good ones. And I love how crispy it is. That's exactly what you want. I think it's time to try it. It's perfect. The layer of spinach and the chunks of feta in there, it's gorgeous. Okay, I waited long enough. It's taking me back. It's so delicious. And that fresh dill just makes it so spectacular. And those little bits of cheese inside, I just love it so much. I mean, who am I kidding? This is how you do it. It's so amazing. Some good advice: eat the pie and then ride your bike. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.